Gary, the team is willing to offer you £50 million per year over a 5-year project to bring Andretti and BMW to the top. That is our offer. We're open to negotiating.
I mean, I like the number, but I'm going to have to do some more talking with Red Bull and whatnot. So yeah, I'll let you know. We start the episode off with an offer from Fernando Alonso, continuing from his talks we had briefly with him a few episodes ago. £50 million per year on the table to head over to Andretti BMW with an ownership role as well as a leadership role to bring that team from the bottom to the top, which you guys would never even get to see because his career mode is ending, but still, it adds to the storyline that we have built over the course of this F1 23 driver career mode. Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode. I hope you're all having a great day, and today we have, coming off of our first win of the season with Red Bull Audi, finally, and now our home Grand Prix here in Montreal, Canada. Of course, we've won here in the past, hoping to repeat again today to keep us right in the thick of the championship hunt. It's been an exciting season so far, the ups and downs for several drivers, but we have been in a bit of a three-horse fight between myself and the two McLaren drivers of Aiden Jackson, defending champion, and the new McLaren driver, of course, of Charles Leclerc, who's really fired up out of the gate so quick with his new team. And it's been really us three that have been so consistent, and that's keeping us, of course, at the top of the title fight here, and hoping we can continue that consistency into this weekend. The worst result of 5th this season so far, and it's still not enough to be leading the championship. Q1, a breeze here. Now, as you can see, our teammate of Dragovic, though, all the way down in P11, a bit of a concerning sight there going into Q2 is Zane Maloney, Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda, Vesti, and Piastri all at the bottom of the grid in Q number 1. We rolled through into Q2 now, looking for, of course, just a simple top 10 lap, nothing special, just need to get through into that third qualifying session to give ourselves a chance here now. And our lap here in Q2 was going okay, wasn't, like I said, you know, the best, but we come through down this run straightaway to the line, and it's going to put us P7. I wasn't confident in that, so I made another lap, and I do improve to P2, but I would continue to drop down the order to 10th place. We barely make it, and Dragovic is out, so clearly this Red Bull Audi not showing the pace that we expected this weekend here in Montreal, but Dragovic is out, we make it through, and now a little bit less confidence coming into Q3, not knowing necessarily if we have a car that's even capable of, you know, qualifying top 5, and a bit of a mistake right here on my first lap, and that one corner was enough to completely throw the lap off, and we have to focus in on a second lap, so it was all about just kind of getting focused in for lap 2. So we come through to cross the stripe, we still go P8 in front of the Lamborghini of Lando Norris, as well as the Connor Sport of Jamie Chadwick. Nice to see her in the top 10 here for the first time in a little while in qualifying, but then I make a bit of a mistake there, give up a 10th of a second, and then again a bit of a slip and slide right there on the exit of the chicane, not to the severity of last time, but then right here, a mistake. I invalidate my lap time. We got enough time, fortunately, for one more lap, so we fast forward P8, lap 3 now here, and here we go. We find about a 10th and a half into the chicane again, though we make another mistake and invalidate it again. I'm sorry, guys. That's all on me. Sorry. A costly potential mistake, and that puts us P9 on the grid. And I mean, looking at the times, we probably would have been about 5th or 6th if I would have been able to finish the lap to the potential that I felt like I could have finished the lap. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but this weekend as well, before we go racing, our Formula 2 team there with High Tech Owen was racing, and it was actually Kimi Antonelli picking up his second win of the Formula 2 season, while our drivers managed a 7th and 12th. So yet to get any of our drivers right up there in the mix for wins, but as well Bianca Bustamante with a very solid result there in 4th place. But yeah, overall a solid weekend for the team as we focus in now on F1 action in the Canadian Grand Prix.
Here in Montreal, lights out is quickly approaching on this artificial island originally built for the World Fair in 1967. Now it's used for a World's Fair of a different kind, ever since Formula One first arrived here. We're back in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles per hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and that final chicane. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Aiden Jackson yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Albon, Norris, Russell, Gasly, Mayer, Golden Boy, Chadwick, Yuri Vips, Behrman, Drugovic, Sato, Doohan, Liam Lawson, Maloney, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, Vesti, and Oscar Piastri. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today, and Tatiana Kolderov. They've had to change their gearbox, of course, but it's never a good start to a Grand Prix when right off the bat you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
Lots of opportunity for strategy today, and you're about to see we're going to be doing the one-stop, two-stop. It looks possible, but we're going for the one-stop. We're going to start on the mediums, go to the hards, and we'll see what other teams are willing to do as we're ready to get this formation lap underway.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
Albon, Softs, Vips, Softs, Drugovic, Sato, and Doohan, Softs as well. Yuki Tsunoda on hards. The more teams figure out these tires, it seems like they're getting a little bit more experimental on what they are going to be willing to start on now. So a lot of different diversity today in the starting compounds.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that within the points.
All right, Gary, a rough day yesterday, focusing today, home race, home crowd. I know you want to take this party down to Toronto later.
Man, you know me too well at this point. I think I need to move on to a new engineer. All right then, we're ready to roll here from Canada, looking to bring the party down to Toronto after this Grand Prix now, but of course we got to win, and that's going to be a difficult task here today now, starting from 8th on the grid due to a grid penalty, moving us up one position. It's a Ferrari front row, it's lights out, and we're racing here. It's a poor start from Pierre Gasly. I swing to the right, and actually we bogged down the car as well. Yuri Vips swings through. Here comes Jamie Chadwick up the inside, and a turn number 1 contact with Chadwick right there now as we're up the inside of the Ferrari of Vips. Now contact on his right rear wheel as well. We get a warning for a collision. Vips is going to get ahead, but a rough start from myself. Albon settles in. He got the second position. Jackson in third. It's Leclerc out in the lead of this Grand Prix. We settle in here just inside the top 10 now with Jamie Chadwick, the Lamborghini there just behind. That's Marino Sato, and then of course you got Felipe Drugovic there just behind a few spots as well, as it was a poor qualifying effort there for the Brazilian. Now at the bottom of the grid there, of course, you got Oscar Piastri in that Andretti BMW car. Of course, Alonso trying to convince his old teammate myself to head over to that team going into next season. Of course, a contract season for us now, but we have contract talks coming up with Christian Horner in the next coming episodes, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how things work out in the 7th season of our career mode. Leclerc leads the way, but at the end of lap 1, here comes Aiden Jackson round the outside of his old teammate in, well, now inside because of the EA ghosting thing. Love it. But they continue wheel to wheel on the exit at turn number 2, and Jackson, I think, might get the job done here into the chicane. Here they go, still side by side, but Albon can't quite keep it there. He's on those soft compound tires, and we saw it fire off on the original start, but we see it already after just one lap. Doesn't seem to be the way to go.
Okay, so just a heads up here, just about everyone in front of you is aiming for a 2-stop today. We will stick with 1 stop.
And as we make a move on the soft tire Ferrari of Yuri Vips, you heard the communication from Mark, so the majority of drivers in front of us are going for a 2-stop today. not a one stop. So we're going to stick with the one stop mainly because we actually now get a warning for track limits, but we are further down the order than of course what we want to be, and we're going to be losing lots of time here going through the field because I'm confident in the pace in this car and the race pace, and I think we're proving it already. Up to 8th place, lap 3 to the back of Pierre Gasly, but not close enough to make a move there into the chicane or into turn 1. But I think the best way to gain the most time overall with our current situation is the one stop strategy, although 2 stops would allow us to just full send the whole way through. I think 1 stop is going to be the best option for us today, just given the situation. So we'll go around the outside of the Mercedes Frenchman of Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris and his impressive run with this Lamborghini continue now. He runs P6 while his teammate of Marino Sato, has not even been able to put that car really in the points this season now. So really showcasing the level of talent Lando Norris has, and maybe the, what could have been driver of this career mode, or maybe Leclerc as well. Those 2 guys that felt like could have both been stars in this career mode, and it never really materialized for either of them. Now as here we go. Now on Albon, a move from George Russell. Albon sells it into the chicane at the end of lap 5, and now he's vulnerable. He's got myself and Norris joining the party as well. There's Kelly Mayer in the track house. What a season it's been. It's been a breakout season for Mayer. We're up the inside of Norris into turn 1. Albon continues to drop in the Ferrari as he's actually reporting an issue.
Something is wrong, guys. I'm down on power.
You hear the radio from Albon, down on power. We're just behind him, and he is, not only down on power, but really struggling. And I think the soft tire compound situation, it doesn't seem like the softs are just a good tire to be on right now. And we've seen that here on this Bridgestone experimental tire that we've been using this season now. And here we go towards the end of the lap now into the hairpin. And going in towards the DRS zone, we'll go around the outside of Albon. So he continues to drift down the order. He was P2 on lap 1, and now he's down to 6th place. Not good for Alex Albon, as we'll try to focus in on Kelly Mayer and George Russell. But Albon, you look on the track map, he had continued to fall backwards behind Norris, behind Pierre Gasly, and there it is. Albon with a mechanical failure day over hit for him in the Ferrari, and this continuous project of Ferrari and trying other drivers, and Albon, of course, trying to kind of reignite his championship run that he kind of lost with McLaren. It's just not working. It's been such a just sad thing to watch. It's just a video game, but I really feel for the Alex Albon AI. We watched him go from a championship driver for 2 seasons in a row to now where he is. And of course, last season, the downfall with him and McLaren. It really hurts for him, obviously. But you can see here, lap 9, focusing in on Kelly Mayer and George Russell. And we have run these 2 down. And here goes Kelly Mayer up the inside of Russell into turn number 1. And a little bit of elbows out action there, but a contact between the 2, both of them on the medium compound tires, just like myself. And actually, Kelly Mayer is the only other driver around me that's on the one-stop strategy. So she is going long, just like myself here now, towards the end of the lap now. Going for the move around the outside. Now the Canadian crowd absolutely loving their home driver, going through the field into 4th now, looking for a podium position. But pit stops are not far away for the 2-stop drivers now. As you can see, asking for a teammate status. Dragovic about 7 seconds back. He's been slowly moving his way forward through the grid now. As you can see, I'm starting to really struggle for grip on these mediums. The car really slipping and sliding around at this point, a lot more than I was expecting it to. After just 10 laps of racing here. But now Charles Leclerc into the pit lane. He's going to be the first one to pit on the 2-stop strategy, but Mayer made a mistake, and that opens the door wide open for myself, side by side, into turn 1. Easy pass. She doesn't even try to fight it. We move up the position as we'll get a look here at Charles Leclerc actually making his pit stop in just a second there. But like I said, he's going to be the first one of the top 10 to kick off that 2-stop strategy, I should say. So he went from mediums on to what looks like another set of mediums. So we saw a strategy like this in Azerbaijan, if you guys remember. And now a lap later, Aiden Jackson into the pits. He's not really fighting right now with Leclerc. Leclerc just seems to be a little bit out of reach for Aiden Jackson today. And look at on the leaderboard, Leclerc is already running down Kelly Mayer, and he's only 2 seconds behind myself. And as we came to the end of the lap, you saw more drivers there coming in for their first of 2 pit stops. It's only just a few cars doing the 1 stop today. It's myself, Mayer, and maybe a couple other drivers a little bit further down the field that are irrelevant to the battle for points, or for the race, I should say, for the race for the victory. But Leclerc had gotten past Mayer. We were driving away from the trackhouse car. She was 3 seconds back, closing in on 4 seconds back, but Leclerc had run me down no problem. And this is why we stuck with the one stop, just trying to save a little bit of time. But obviously, it's evident without a safety car or anything, we are not going to be a threat today for the race victory. Leclerc passing us already on after making a pit stop. So I was trying to hang on as long as I could as we continue to slip and slide, but we're going to box one lap early. My pit window doesn't open until lap 16. We'll come in on lap 15. So Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and that was after being held up by me for a few moments. But we go into the hards, and we're taking these to the end of the Grand Prix. We're going to cycle out right here in 10th place, right behind our teammate of Drugovich. He's actually on another set of softs, so unlike where we've seen drivers go from mediums to mediums, he's gone from softs to softs, so I think he'll be taking a set of hards to the end of this Grand Prix on his second pit stop here now. But we're going to be fighting with Drugovich towards the end of this lap here because, of course, his soft tires are fresh still, and they are just kicked up. They're hot, they're going, and I was still getting my hard compound tires, trying to get them into the track, get them warmed up, and it was taking me a few moments to do that. But more cars in the pits here now. You got Oliver Behrman, you got Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris. We'll pass them. That puts us into P6. I do think P3 is going to be probably the best we're going to do today, as I nearly drive into the back of my teammate there. But it was taking me a lot longer to get an opportunity to pass Drugovich than I was hoping for. I was having a tough time just getting aggressive on this hard compound tire to get me to a point where I can make a move. But you can see Drugovich, he's starting to slip and slide that rear end around a little bit, and as soon as that started happening, the vulnerabilities come out in his car, and it's giving me the opportunity to get right up on him and pounce. And at the end of the lap, another slide. Here we go, DRS to the left side of Felipe Drugovich now on the run towards the start-finish line. 16 laps of racing to go, and we'll lunge it into turn 1, leave him the room there briefly, but we get clear, so we take the position into P4. Russell 2.3 seconds up the road, but he still has another pit stop as well to make. Mayer has made her pit stop, but she lost so much time by staying out longer than me. She's 8.5 seconds back, but she's on the hards. She will also go to the end of this race on one stop. I think she's going to be, of course, a lot more vulnerable than I am to the other cars that are on the two-stop strategy. We have no problem running down George Russell over the course of these few laps. Drugovich now in for his second and final pit stop. He'll put on the hard compound tire, and now here we go on the end of the long back straightaway heading towards the final chicane. Charles Leclerc, he is now in for his second and final stop. We clear Russell with the DRS. He's pitting now for his second pit stop, and Leclerc's already exiting. He might be ahead of us before we even get to him on the run towards turn 1. There it is, Leclerc exiting. We roll through 1 and 2, and there he goes, and that's really demoralizing to see that. He's just made his second pit stop, full extra pit stop, and he is already ahead and driving away. We do get ahead of Aiden Jackson, who pits 1 lap later, however, but we know he's going to run us down as I'm trying to just hustle this car as we're going to go through the grid, approaching 10 laps to go.
McLaren are absolutely dominating this race here today. Leclerc out in front, and I imagine Jackson will pass Owen for second soon enough.
Although Owen screwed up his quali run, it just doesn't seem like that car has the speed this weekend that they need. They had great speed in Singapore, but not today. What can you tell us, Ted?
Yeah, guys. I chatted with Christian Horner this weekend, and he told me the speed wasn't quite there for this track. We've seen this year with the new regulations, a lot of cars are quite track dependent, and it's obvious this is one of the tracks against Red Bull.
All right, thanks, Ted. You see Marino Sito there running 11th in front of Jack Doohan. Yuri Vips currently down in 14th. A terrible day for Ferrari.
Nothing new there. They just get worse every year, Crofty. The big winner out of this is Callie Mayer, who was in the running for a seat there. But they went a different direction, and she went to Trackhouse. She is having a mighty season with the American team.
And there you have, through the grid, Aiden Jackson 3 seconds back, now 2.7. He is closing. I am driving as hard as I can, trying to close this gap or manage the gap, but it's not happening. 4.7 seconds. The gap continues to increase now. 2.4 seconds to Jackson. We've crashed the car. We've gone around. Aiden Jackson slips through the wing torn off on the left side, and the safety car will be deployed. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mark. And guys, I was pushing too hard there. That was all me. I'm an idiot.
Okay, don't panic here. Pit now for new tyres. You're going to have a huge tyre advantage. We can still get a podium here.
Mark believes we can still get a podium, and we will return to the track in P10, but I mean, I just threw. It was embarrassing. I was driving too hard, and as we get ready to go back racing, it's going to be 6 laps to go. We're on fresh mediums and his hard tires in front of us. We can slice through this field. We're not going to be able to beat the McLarens, but we could still get a podium, and here we go immediately. To the back of Jamie Chadwick, we're racing once again. We lunge down into turn 1, show the nose, don't make the move. Here's the move now, around the outside, and now the charge back through the field goes. We're going to have to go on a heck of a drive, catching Oliver Behrman a little bit off guard there. The rookie wasn't quite ready now. Oscar Piastri getting out of the way, and right at the apex, nearly contact right there with the Australian. We avoid it now, as he's, of course, got the blue flags. There is another lap car up there in the mix. I believe it's Mick Schumacher in the BMW. That's, of course, having to get out of the way. We'll wait and see what happens as we now are all over the back of Lando Norris and quite literally into the back of Lando Norris. You can see the tire advantage already. Look at that, to the right side. We're going to continue wheel to wheel. Dragovic up ahead on the mediums, actually, not on the hard compound tire, as we took it side by side into the chicane. Norris, no stranger, going side by side into that chicane. I didn't really leave him any room. I said I'm going, and I'm going now. So we would run down Dragovic as well as a pair of Mercedes. Gasly, a nice rebound. Calimere just up ahead of them in 3rd place right now, but it's certainly a chance for a podium. Look at how much they're struggling compared to myself now. It's going to be wheel to wheel between the 2 Mercedes. Dragovic trying to get involved, and look at the track map. You can tell the tire disadvantage these guys are at, because Mick Schumacher in the BMW is running faster than Calimere, Russell, and Gasly. He doesn't have to worry about any blue flags right now. We go around the outside of Gasly and Dragovic. We take 5th place. It certainly wasn't Mark just trying to hype us up. No, it's real. We can get a podium here still, which, I mean, is still, you know, it's good, but it's not at the same time, because we need to beat the McLarens. Mayer with a mistake in the chicane, now struggling on that old hard compound tire. Russell is well on the hards, but we will now continue into turn 1 around the outside of Mayer. A little bit of contact between those two now, and we'll go around the outside. Those two had contact earlier. I think that was Russell trying to give it back a little bit, so Mayer dropping back to 5th, and now move engaged on George Russell into the chicane. Around the outside we go. It's not even a contest. Back into 3rd place we go, but the McLarens are long gone. Look at how far they drove away. 10, 11 seconds up the road. Jackson 9 seconds up the road, and it's the final lap here in the Canadian Grand Prix. We choked. We tried the one stop. I mean, nothing really worked, but at the same time we qualified 9th, started 8th. We're going to get 3rd, even after all the chaos in between with myself wrecking the car as well. In a matter of just a few laps, we managed to drive back from 10th. And now, into the 3rd position, Charles Leclerc rounds the final chicane. He's going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. His success with McLaren continues. Aiden Jackson brings it home. 2nd place, we're going to round the final few corners. It's going to be a solid rebound for 3rd place. We'll take it for what happened, but definitely seeking more.
Okay, great rebound. That was a championship drive if I've ever seen one.
We'll take it. Those McLarens were lights out fast, guys. We need to talk about that, because I don't think we had anything for them no matter what.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll discuss after the race.
A truly magnificent drive and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada.
I think it needs to be talked about. Why is there so much dirt on the floor? But what actually needs to be talked about is the pace of the McLaren. They were unbelievable in those closing 5 laps. They pulled 10 seconds out in front of everybody, and they weren't on really much fresher tires than the cars behind them. So that was concerning to see the pace of that car, and I think we need to have a conversation with Audi going forward and seeing if there's anything that they can do as an engine supplier, because clearly there's a massive amount of speed in that Toyota engine that McLaren is producing. Of course, we're not seeing it represented in the sister team for them with Connor Sport, but we're certainly seeing it in that McLaren. It's absolutely insane what they did today. And even if we qualified, say, top 5, I just, looking at the pace of those McLarens, I don't think we would have been able to do anything different. I think it still would have been a 3rd place kind of day. You know, of course, everything is track dependent. We showed up last episode, and I mean, we were, you know, the fastest driver in Singapore. So yeah, very track dependent situations right now, but that was quite demoralizing to watch today. So we definitely need to have some conversations going forward. Lando Norris with a point there, P10 as well. Yuri Vips only manages P11. Oliver Behrman, no points as well. Jack Doohan with a point. Jamie Chadwick there in 13th. Looking However, at the standings, we're 17 back, Jackson back by 13. The 3-horse run continues now as Russell, Mayer 4th, 5th, and then Drugovich there as McLaren continues to run away in the Constructors. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.